In case any of you were under the delusion that Disney might be getting their acts together now that they're going bankrupt, if you thought that they might look at the current state of things and go, damn, we actually need to go back to giving our fans what they want, or things ain't going to end well, I got news for you. Disney Entertainment chief says ABC passes on incredibly well-written scripts because they don't meet new diversity standards. So right now, the only standard at Disney to get something produced is diversity. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's bad. They pass on objectively better things because it's not diverse enough. And when they say diverse, they mean non-white. You could have a story about some African mythology where every single character in the story is black, and they will consider that diverse. Diversity doesn't mean actual diversity when these people say it. It just means non-white. Like that's literally it. Yeah, so you guys remember I went over that story before too, where that one white poet could not get recognized by any of the journals, and then he went under a Chinese pen name, and suddenly he was winning awards for his stuff. Real interesting, isn't it? So that says one of two things. Either he was pretty damn good and he was just being held back by diversity quotas, or he was actually pretty damn bad, but they didn't care because, oh, look, finally someone who meets this diversity quota showed up. And they're actively suppressing better people. Now, Dana Walden, the chairman of entertainment for Walt Disney Television, recently said during a panel discussion that ABC passed on some incredibly well-written scripts just because they did not meet its new diversity standards. And then they're going to be explaining to their shareholders in a year or two why they're going bankrupt. Walden made the comments during a panel discussion titled Whammons in Focus, Whammons, Big Tech, and the Future of Hollywood, put on by Chapman University and Glamour. How stereotypical can you get? On April 9th, the Hollywood Reporter revealed. Last year, the outlet reported that ABC was calling for at least 50% representation of underrepresented groups in regular and recurring characters, as well as with writing staff and producers. This is gonna be hilarious. Check this out. Like we're proving in Comicsgate, you can make it on your own. So how funny would it be if all of Hollywood's most talented people accepted that they're never going to be able to get work again because they're not diverse enough, and instead of pitching shit to Hollywood, they went out and made their own stuff? And how hilarious would it be if they did so good that they ended up replacing the legacy industry? And then these same parasites that ruined the legacy industry were trying to get them to, hire them. Nope. Never gonna happen. I will tell you, for the first time, we received some incredibly well-written scripts that did not satisfy our standards in terms of inclusion, and we passed on them, Walden said during the panel discussion. All right. You guys know the story of George Lucas, right? When it comes to Soy Wars, you remember that? So Lucas, back when it was Star Wars, it wasn't Soy Wars yet, he shopped Star Wars around to multiple studios, and they all turned him down, but one. And then once Star Wars became like the biggest hit ever, how much you want to bet some people at all those other studios were getting fired? Because imagine if this happened here. Imagine if one of these scripts that Disney passed on ends up being the next Star Wars at a different studio. Can you imagine the hilarity that would ensue? Because, dude, if I was one of the creators and this happened to me, I would rub it in. If I pitched something to Disney and Disney rejected it for whatever reason, and then I pitched it to another studio and it gets made and it ends up being so big it overshadows anything Disney does, I would be revealing that in every fucking interview. It's like, yeah, actually, Disney was the first company I pitched this to, and they rejected it. I would make damn sure they know what they missed out on. Walden admitted that ABC even passed on one show about a white family that would have included a diverse cast of friends and neighbors. Pass. That's not going to get on air anymore because that's not what our audience wants. Oh my God. They're pretending like they know what their audience wants. They keep losing money. Their audience keeps disappearing. And they're like, oh, that's not what our audience wants. They want more woke shit. That's not a reflection of our audience. And I feel good about the direction we're moving, she said. You know why they feel good? Because they get bailouts. Hollywood got a multi-billion-dollar bailout in what was supposed to be the Corona Chan relief package. These dying legacy industries that no one cares about anymore, I think they are officially recognized by the government as propaganda at this point, because the government is who's funding them. These are government-funded propaganda entities, man. The guidelines announced by ABC also include meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives, and ongoing meaningful representation of underrepresented groups in episodic themes and narratives. So what if you want to pass, like, what if you want to pitch a full-blown fantasy show? Actually, would something like Dark Crystal be diverse enough for them? Shows in ABC's lineup currently appear to already specifically address diversity with titles like its long-running Blackish series and its spin-off Mixedish, though other existing shows like The Connors and The Goldbergs have largely white casts. Oh, they'll be canceled soon. That's fine. In January, ABC announced its new show, Home Economics, which premiered last week. The show stars Topher Grace, who is white, with a largely white cast. Walden also revealed during a panel discussion that Disney will soon announce a new BIPOC programming initiative at Hulu, referring to the term for Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Whew. So I never really... I used Hulu on occasion back when Funimation used to upload some of their stuff to that as well. We're talking like back when Toriko was still airing. That was a long time ago. But otherwise, I would never pay for Hulu because you get ads even if you pay. So fuck that shit. But now would be even less of a reason to get Hulu because you'll be subsidizing this shit that nobody wants. That initiative would be run by Tara Duncan, who is the current president of Freeform, according to The Hollywood Reporter. It is programming that is by BIPOC storytellers for BIPOC audiences, curated by executives of color, high-level leaders inside of our organization, Walden said. So they're basically saying this isn't for us. You realize that, right? They're telling us flat out, this stuff is for BIPOC audiences. And then when it fails because white people don't watch it, they will call us racist for not watching it, after flat out saying to our faces that this isn't for us. That's the clown world we live in. So Jennifer Salk, head of Amazon Studios, also sat on the panel and teased a big inclusion policy, according to the outlet. Whew, I got no hope for them either. We have to step out there aggressively and make it happen, she said. I see huge changes. Okay, Jennifer Salk. I haven't seen what she looks like, but she sounds white by that name. How about you put your money where your mouth is and give up your job for a black woman? Stacey Abrams, a Democrat voting rights activist who has largely been credited for the results of the runoff election for 2 U.S. Senate seats in Georgia, also spoke during the panel discussion. So you know where they lean politically as well. Honestly, in current year, if you are even remotely, I was going to say conservative, but really, you could be left-leaning. But if you're not as far left-leaning as these lunatics, you pretty much got no business putting your money into these legacy systems. They hate your guts. They will take your money and hate on you and attack you and campaign against you and make things that that they say to your face aren't for you. Why keep giving them money? It was very clear that my goal was to make certain that the Harris administration got elected and that I would do whatever I could to make them successful in their endeavors, but I did not seek a position in the White House itself. No. You're in the propaganda arm. You're in the media. That's the important thing. You have more power in the media than you would in the government. Yeah, I do know there's a governor's race coming up in 22, but I'm working on making sure we have democracy in Georgia in 22. That's currently my focus. Translation, she's looking to destroy democracy in Georgia by 2022. Because it's funny, isn't it? You need an ID to fly. You need an ID to take a taxi. You need an ID to buy shit. You need an ID for a bank account. You need IDs to attend sporting events. But it's apparently discriminatory to require an ID to vote. I'm willing to compromise here. I'm willing to say, okay, fine, let's remove the voter ID requirement, but we also need to remove ID requirements from literally everything else. Let people do anything without an ID, and we can talk. Oh, but you're never going to do that, are you? Yeah, so fuck off. The Hollywood Reporter revealed on Tuesday that Sharon Klein has been named the new executive VP of casting at Walt Disney Television. According to the outlet, she will oversee casting teams at ABC, 20th Century Television, ABC Signature, 20th TV Animation, Walt Disney TV Alternative, and Hulu Originals and Freeform. So the entire Disney umbrella is going to go in the dumpster. Meanwhile, this reminded me here at the end. Notice 20th Television, 20th TV Animation, 20th Century Fox. That's what those are. They bought the Fox Entertainment division off of Rupert Murdoch and removed the Fox from it because I guess they really didn't want to be associated with Fox News. They paid Rupert Murdoch, I believe, like $70 billion for 20th Century Fox. I agree with what others have said. There is nothing that 20th Century Fox had that would be worth anywhere near that money. But Disney thought that they could effectively have a monopoly if they did that. So Disney acquired all of Fox and things are going well, right? Okay. Let's take a look at what Rupert Murdoch did. He spent $500 million? $500 million. 1/140th of the money that Disney gave him, he spent to buy Tubi, a streaming service with all the infrastructure already built in and an already built-in 30 million user subscriber or installer user base. So he has already out Disney Plus, and now he's just left and right announcing exclusivity deals for anime, original content. Tubi might put Disney down. And so Rupert Murdoch, this mad lad, got Disney to pay him $70 billion, and then he spent a tiny fraction of that money to outcompete Disney at their own game, thus making even more money at Disney's expense. Bob Iger's legacy, man. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.